Imagine you're standing on the deck of a ship. You've been at sea for 9 weeks. You've sold your house, your furniture, your savings. You've said goodbye to everyone you've ever known. But you're not scared. You're excited. Because you're about to start over. In a paradise. The ship's captain told you about this place. You've read the guidebook. You've seen the map. You've even exchanged your British pounds for the local currency. Because this new country has its own money. It has banks, government buildings, a cathedral, fertile farmland ready to be claimed. And then you see it. Land. Your heart is hammering. This is it. This is Poyais, the promised land. The longboat hits the beach. Settlers climb out, laughing, stumbling onto the shore. Children run. Someone drops to their knees and kisses the sand. Except something is wrong. They walk further in, searching. Then they find it. The ruins of what was once a colonial outpost. Crumbling walls. Overgrowth. Abandoned for decades. One man pulls out his guidebook. He flips to the map. He holds it up against what's in front of him. There is no city. There is no country. There never was. 250 people made that journey. More than half of them never came home. And the man who sent them there, he was back in London, living in a mansion, planning the next round of investors. This is the story of Gregor MacGregor, the man who invented a country and sold it to real people, and somehow almost got away with it. Before we talk about the scam, you need to understand the man. Because the Poyais fraud didn't work because people were stupid. It worked because Gregor MacGregor was extraordinary. He was born in 1786 in Glengyle, Scotland. Part of the legendary clan Gregor, the same bloodline as Rob Roy MacGregor, a Scottish folk hero. That name alone meant something. That name opened doors. At 14 years old, he joined the British Army. By 21, he'd fought in the Napoleonic Wars. He was decorated, disciplined. He carried himself like a man who had seen things most people only read about. And here's what's crucial to understand. He wasn't faking all of it. The military career was real. The bravery was real. The charisma, absolutely real. He had a gift. When Gregor MacGregor walked into a room, people wanted to be near him, wanted to impress him, wanted his approval. Psychologists call this the halo effect. When someone seems impressive in one area, we assume they're impressive in all areas. Gregor was a decorated war hero. Therefore, he must be trustworthy. He must be brilliant. He must be right. In 1811, he left Britain and sailed to South America. And this is where the story gets genuinely incredible. South America in the early 1800s was on fire. Every major colony was in revolt against Spain. And into that chaos stepped Gregor MacGregor. He joined the revolutionary forces of Simón Bolívar, the man trying to liberate an entire continent. Gregor fought in Venezuela, in New Granada. He wasn't just a soldier, he was leading men, commanding cavalry charges. And he wasn't just fighting, he was building a reputation, a mythology. In 1819, he pulled off something that should have been impossible.
He landed on the Spanish coast of Florida with just 55 men. 55! And he captured an entire fortified town, Amelia Island. He declared himself its governor. He issued his own proclamations. He flew his own flag. This is the moment everything changed, because Gregor realized something dangerous about himself. He could make people believe in things that didn't exist yet. And if he could make them believe, maybe he could make them pay for it. He was eventually forced off Amelia Island. Spain pushed back. The United States intervened. But Gregor MacGregor escaped, as he always did. And he took something with him that was worth more than any territory he'd ever captured. He took the idea. When Gregor MacGregor arrived back in London in 1821, he did not arrive as a failed mercenary. He arrived as His Highness Gregor MacGregor, Cazique of Poyais. Cazique, an indigenous term for chieftain, a prince, a sovereign ruler. He had given himself a title that no one in London knew how to challenge. Nobody had heard of Poyais, but that was fine, because Poyais was on the other side of the world, and information took months to travel across the Atlantic. He rented a mansion in Baker Street. He threw lavish dinner parties. He hired servants. He wore his military uniform everywhere he went. And when people asked him about Poyais, he would lean forward, lower his voice slightly, as if letting you in on a precious secret, and describe paradise. Fertile soil that grew crops year-round, a natural harbor that welcomed trade ships, a European-style capital city called St. Joseph, a cathedral, a bank, a town hall, streets, shops, and available land, so much land. Land that any British settler could claim. Land that could make a family wealthy for generations. The dinner guests would nod. They'd ask more questions. And Gregor would pull from his jacket, as if on cue, a beautifully illustrated map. He had documents. He had maps. He had a currency. He had everything a real country would have. All of it fabricated. All of it perfect. And London had no idea what was coming.